The sleek Galactic Council ship hung silently above Earth. Its dark hull blended perfectly with space. Only the faint blue glow of its engine showed it was there at all. Inside, Captain Doro moved around the bridge, his scaled skin reflecting the light from many screens. "Look at this," he said to his crew. His voice made clicking sounds between words. "These humans, they build, they change, they adapt so quickly." The alien crew studied Earth with 6 eyes each. They watched cities at night, lit up like stars. They saw planes crossing oceans. They observed internet signals bouncing between continents. "Send everything to the Council," Doro ordered. "They need to see this right away." Days later, in the Great Crystal Tower at the center of the galaxy, Supreme Counselor Jev paced the floor. His long robes dragged behind him as he studied the Earth reports. Other council members watched nervously. "This cannot stand," Jev finally said. "These humans, their bodies are weak, but their minds." He tapped the report. "They went from simple tools to space travel in less than 10,000 years. That's nothing. A blink." A female council member spoke up. "They're no threat now. Their weapons are primitive." "Now, yes," Jev said. "But in 200 years, 500, they could match us. Maybe surpass us." He slammed his hand down. "We've ruled the galaxy for 50,000 years. I won't be the one who loses it all." The vote was quick. Earth would be contained. The Council's word for destruction. No warning came. On a normal Tuesday, the sky split open above Earth's largest cities. Beams of light brighter than the sun struck down. Buildings vaporized. Streets melted. The attack hit every continent at once. In Seoul, Lieutenant Tai Kim had been underground when it happened. The military bunker shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Emergency lights flashed red. "What's happening?" Someone shouted. "Attack." Another voice called. "We're under attack." Tahi moved quickly to the communications station. Nothing worked. She grabbed her gear and headed for the exit stairs. "Where are you going?" her fellow officer asked. "Up," she said. "We need to see." The sight above ground stopped her cold. Seoul was burning. Towers she had seen every day were simply gone. Where the city center had been, a smoking crater stretched for miles. The sky had a strange purple color. Tahi felt her legs go weak. She had trained for war, but not this. Not the end of everything. A small sound made her turn. A young boy stood nearby, face dirty, eyes wide with shock. "Are you a soldier?" he asked. Tahi nodded. "Can you help us? My mom and others are trapped in the subway station." Purpose returned to her. "Show me," she said. The subway had partly collapsed, but many people had survived inside. Tahi organized teams to clear debris and treat the wounded. Someone found a radio that still worked. Reports came in from across the city. The story was the same everywhere. Destruction from the sky. No warning. As night fell, more survivors found their way to the subway. Tahi used her military training to create order from chaos. Food was shared. Water was rationed. The injured were cared for. "What do we do now?" someone asked as people huddled together in the dark. Tahi stood up. "They tried to kill us all," she said, "but we're still here. They expected us to break apart, to give up." She looked around at the faces watching her. "We won't. We'll fight back." Far away in Brazil, Chunho Park was doing the same thing. Once he had planned military strategies at a desk. Now he was in the ruins of Rio, gathering survivors. "We need to go underground," he told the group he found. "These attacks came from space. We need to hide, gather strength, then fight back." A woman with a bandaged arm laughed bitterly. "Fight back? Against something that can do this?" She gestured at the ruined city. "Yes," Junho said firmly. "Every enemy has a weakness. We just need to find it." That night, as survivors around the world huddled in darkness, two leaders began planning Earth's response. Tahi in Asia, Shunho in South America. They didn't know each other yet. They couldn't know how their paths would cross, how together they would lead humanity's fight for survival. On his ship, Captain Doro reported to the Council. Earth is contained. Major population centers destroyed. No significant resistance detected. Supreme Counselor Jev smiled. Excellent. Maintain orbital watch, but the threat is neutralized. How wrong he was. The Galactic Council had just created its worst nightmare. Earth wasn't broken. It was angry. And humans had always been at their most dangerous when fighting for survival. 3 months passed since the aliens attacked Earth. The survivors had learned to live underground. They moved through old subway tunnels, mine shafts, and caves. Some even built homes deep under the ocean. Humans had become like ants, hidden but busy, working together. Tahi walked through the dimly lit tunnel. Water dripped from the ceiling. The air smelled of dirt and too many people living close together. But it was safe. The aliens rarely came below ground. Commander Kim, a young man, said, saluting her, "The team from South America has arrived." Tahi nodded. This meeting had taken weeks to arrange. Getting people safely across the world wasn't easy with alien ships watching from above. The command center was a large cave deep under the Ural Mountains. People from different resistance groups sat around tables made from old wooden crates. Maps covered the walls. Radios hummed in the background. When Chunho Park walked in, Tahi knew him right away. His pictures had been shared among resistance leaders. He was taller than she expected, with tired eyes and a determined face. "Lieutenant Kim," he said, bowing slightly, "your work in Asia has been impressive." "As has yours in South America," she replied. "But I'm most interested in the scientist you brought." Chunho stepped aside. Behind him stood a small woman with thick glasses. "This is Dr. Su Jin Yoon." Su Jin didn't waste time with greetings. She went straight to a table and opened her laptop. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the screen. "This is an alien brain scan. We captured it when we briefly accessed their systems during a raid." Everyone gathered around. The scan showed strange patterns, colors that pulsed and moved. "And this," Su Jin said, switching to another image, "is a human brain." The difference was clear. The patterns were completely different. 3 weeks ago, we tried to hack into their ship computers, Su Jin explained. It didn't work well. But something strange happened. When my assistant got angry and yelled, the alien system crashed. She pushed her glasses up. I tested it more. Human emotions, strong ones especially, create brain patterns that disrupt their technology. It's like static on a radio. "Can we use this?" Tahi asked. Su Jin smiled. From her bag, she pulled out a strange helmet with wires and small lights. "This is version 1, she said. "The psionic amplifier. It takes human brain waves and makes them stronger. Focused. When you wear this and concentrate, you can shut down their systems." Junho picked up the helmet. "We tested a similar version. It worked, but only for a few minutes." "This one's better," Su Jin said. "And I can make more." A commotion at the door interrupted them. A man hurried in, carrying a sealed container. His face was excited. "Dr. Lee is here," someone announced. Hyunwoo Lee was short and round, with kind eyes and quick movements. He carefully placed his container on the table. "I came as fast as I could," he said, catching his breath. "What I found was too important to send by messenger." He opened the container, revealing test tubes filled with dirt. "Dirt?" someone asked, disappointed. "Not just dirt," Hyunwoo said. "What lives in the dirt?" "Bacteria. The most common kind." He switched on a small microscope he had brought. "Look at this recording." The screen showed tiny bacteria moving around. Then, a drop of blue liquid fell onto them. "That's alien blood," Hyunwoo explained. "From a dead patrol soldier we found." On screen, the alien blood seemed to bubble and break down when it touched the bacteria. They have no immunity to Earth bacteria, Hyunwoo said. Not even the simple ones that have been here for millions of years. Their bodies have no defense. The room went quiet as everyone realized what this meant. Tahi broke the silence. So we have two weapons they never expected. Our minds and our microscopic allies. We need to test more, Hyunwoo cautioned. Different bacteria affect different alien species in different ways. Junho was already thinking ahead. We can make bacterial weapons, and with Sujin's amplifiers, we can get close enough to use them. It's time to plan our counterattack, Tahi said. Her eyes were bright with hope for the first time in months. Above them, alien ships patrolled empty cities. The council believed humans were defeated, hiding like frightened animals. They assumed victory was complete. They were wrong. In deep tunnels and hidden bunkers around the world, humans were preparing. The psionic amplifiers grew more powerful with each version. Bacterial cultures multiplied in makeshift labs. Communication networks spread, connecting resistance cells globally. The aliens had superior technology and weapons, but they had overlooked two critical facts. Humans were incredibly adaptable, and Earth itself was their greatest ally. The planet's smallest life forms and the human mind's unique patterns would soon become the Council's worst nightmare. The day of counterattack was coming, and the aliens would never see it coming. The day had come. 6 months of planning, training, and waiting. 6 months since the aliens had destroyed Earth's cities and killed millions. Now it was time to fight back. Tahi checked her equipment one last time. The psionic amplifier fit snugly around her head now, not like the bulky helmet from 3 months ago. Sujin had made it better, smaller. It looked almost like a normal headband, but with tiny lights that glowed blue. "Team ready?" she asked. 5 men and women nodded. Each wore the same headband. Each carried small weapons and backpacks, and each had practiced for weeks for this mission. "Hyunwoo?" Tahi asked. The scientist patted his special backpack. "The bacteria are ready. I have enough to fill their whole air system." Tahi looked at her watch. "It's time. Remember, at exactly 600, all teams worldwide will attack. We must be in position." They moved silently through the ruins of Busan. Once it had been a beautiful port city. Now it was broken buildings and empty streets. The huge alien ship sat in the harbor. It floated just above the water, its metal skin shining in the early morning light. 2 alien guards stood at the entry ramp. Tall, thin creatures with gray skin and too many arms. They held weapons that could turn a human to ash in seconds. "Activate amplifiers," Tahi whispered. The team touched their headbands. The blue lights grew brighter. "Focus your thoughts. We are crew members returning from patrol. We belong on the ship." Tahi stepped into the open and walked straight toward the guards. Her heart hammered in her chest, but she kept her mind focused. The rest of the team followed. The guards turned to look at them. For a terrible moment, Tahi thought they would fire. But then the aliens simply nodded and stepped aside. "It's working," someone whispered behind her. "They see us as their own kind." Inside the ship, the halls were wide and tall. Strange lights pulsed along the walls. The air smelled like metal and something sweet, like rotting fruit. An alien officer walked past them. It looked right at Tahi, but saw nothing strange. The psionic amplifiers tricked the alien's mind, making it see fellow crew members instead of humans. They reached the air circulation control room without trouble. Inside, one alien technician worked at a control panel. Hyunwoo stepped forward. His hand trembled slightly as he opened his backpack. From it, he took a cylinder filled with cloudy liquid. Tahi nodded. Hyunwoo connected the cylinder to the main air duct. "Now," he whispered, and turned the valve. The bacteria, ordinary Earth bacteria grown in Hyunwoo's lab, flowed into the ship's air system. It would spread to every room, every hall. The alien technician noticed them too late. It reached for an alarm, but Tahi was faster. She fired her weapon once. The alien fell. "Control room next," she ordered. They moved quickly now. Already they could hear alarms in distant parts of the ship. The bacteria were working fast. Some aliens were feeling the effects. The ship's control room was large, with many stations. At least 20 aliens worked there. When Tahi's team burst in, the aliens looked up in surprise. But it was too late for them. Many were already coughing, their bodies fighting the invisible Earth bacteria they had never encountered before. Others were too weak to stand. "Secure the room," Tahi ordered. Her team moved quickly, tying up aliens who could still move. Within minutes, the control room was theirs. "Communications station," Tahi said, pointing. "Contact headquarters." One of her team sat at the alien controls. Thanks to the psionic amplifier, he could understand the strange symbols and operate the system. Chunho's face appeared on the main screen. He looked tense but hopeful. "Busan team reporting success," Tahi said. "Battlecruiser captured." Chunho's face broke into a rare smile. "Excellent work. Reports are coming in from all sectors. Sydney team has taken their target. Moscow and Cairo as well. London team reports heavy resistance, but they're making progress." "Casualties?" Tahi asked. "Lower than expected," Juno replied. "The bacterial weapons are very effective." "What's next?" "Access their communication network. Use their codes to spread confusion. Make them fight each other." Tahi turned to her team. "You heard him. Find their communication systems." Hours later, Earth's first coordinated counterattack was complete. 12 alien ships captured, hundreds of aliens dead or captured. And most importantly, humans now had access to the Council's communication network. False orders flew through space. Alien ships fired on each other, thinking they were attacking human rebels. Council commanders received fake retreat orders. Supply ships were diverted to empty space. On the bridge of the captured battlecruiser, now named Vengeance, Tahi looked at the stars through the main window. For the first time, she felt real hope. She turned to her crew, a mix of soldiers, scientists, and ordinary people who had lost everything to the invasion. "Today, we showed them Earth isn't defeated," she said. "We've taken their ships. We've learned their weaknesses. We've started to turn the tide." She placed her hand on the ship's control panel. "Tomorrow, we take the fight to the stars." Supreme Counselor Jev couldn't believe the reports. His 3 eyes blinked rapidly as he read them again. 12 battlecruisers lost. Communication systems compromised. Hundreds of soldiers dead from some kind of biological attack. "Impossible," he shouted, throwing the report across the Grand Council chamber. "These are primitive beings. They were nearly destroyed." The other council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The circular room, usually a place of calm discussion, now crackled with tension. "The humans have shown unexpected resilience," said one council member carefully. Jev slammed his hand down on the speaking podium. The sound echoed through the chamber. "Send the Vanquisher fleet. All of it. These primitives must be destroyed completely this time." From the back of the chamber, a bubbling voice spoke up. Ambassador Mool of the Aquatic Alliance rose from his water tank. His blue skin glistened as he moved toward the center of the room. "I must object," Mool said, his voice gurgling slightly. "The initial attack was wrong. We struck without warning, without cause. These humans only defend their home, as any species would." Other council members began to speak up too. Some agreed with Jev, others with Mool. The council, united for thousands of years, was splitting apart over Earth. Meanwhile, humans pressed their advantage. In hidden bases around the world, Earth's scientists worked day and night. They took apart alien technology and learned its secrets. They combined alien science with human ideas. The result was something new. Ships powered by human minds, weapons guided by thought, technology that no other species had imagined. In orbit around Earth's moon, hidden from alien sensors, the flagship Aurora prepared for its mission. It was Earth's newest and most powerful ship. Its silver hull was shaped like a teardrop. No visible engines, no weapons ports, just smooth metal that seemed to glow from within. On the bridge, Tahi and Juno studied a holographic map of their target, the Council's command vessel. "It's heavily guarded," Junho said, pointing to red dots representing defense ships. "But our intelligence says it contains a master control system for all invasion forces. If we can access it, we can end the war," Tahi finished. "One strike instead of 1,000 battles." They had chosen their team carefully. 20 of Earth's best fighters. Each person had trained for weeks with the advanced psionic amplifiers that Dr. Sujin had created. "Are we ready?" Tahi asked. Shunho nodded. "As ready as we'll ever be." The Aurora moved silently through space, its psionic engines, powered by the combined mental energy of its crew, left no heat signature, no radiation trail. To Council sensors, it was invisible. They passed alien patrol ships without being detected, slipped through defense lines that would have stopped any conventional vessel. Soon they reached their target, the massive command ship that directed all Council forces in the sector. "Boarding team ready," Tahi said, checking her equipment one last time. The new amplifier fit like a thin silver crown around her head. 20 humans moved through the airlock and onto the Council ship. Using their amplifiers, they became ghosts to the alien crew, visible but not registering as intruders. They moved quickly through the huge vessel, following the path their spies had mapped out. At the ship's center, they found what they sought, a room filled with glowing crystalline computers. The master control system. "Begin the download," Tahi ordered. One of her team connected a small device to the main console. It would copy everything: fleet positions, attack plans, communication codes. Then the lights turned red, alarms wailed, and doors slid open around them. Elite Council guards poured into the room. Tall, heavily armored aliens with advanced weapons. They formed a circle around the humans, cutting off all escape. A large alien with a scared face stepped forward. "Commander Drex, head of Council security forces. We knew you'd come, humans," he snarled, his sharp teeth gleaming in the red light. "Your tricks won't save you now." The humans raised their weapons, ready to fight to the end. But Tahi remained calm. "We didn't come alone," she said simply. At that exact moment, throughout the galaxy, human agents activated. They had been sent in secret to dozens of Council worlds. Now they all acted at once. On the Council homeworld, power stations suddenly failed. On military bases, communication systems went down. In shipyards, half-built vessels experienced mysterious system failures. The confusion spread quickly. Council forces scrambled to respond to attacks that seemed to be coming from everywhere. Commander Drex received urgent messages on his communicator. His confident smile faded. "What have you done?" he demanded. But Tahi and her team were already moving. In the confusion, they completed their mission, downloading the master control data and planting advanced disruptors in the system. As they fought their way back to the Aurora, the Council command ship began to lose power. Its systems failed one by one. The Aurora slipped away, carrying with it the key to humanity's survival and the beginning of the Galactic Council's downfall. 1 year passed since the attack on Earth. 1 year of fighting, suffering, and finally, victory. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council shone with light from 1,000 stars. The ceiling was open to space, protected by a clear force field. Representatives from 500 worlds sat in rising circles around the central floor. Tahi stood straight in her formal uniform. Beside her, Shunho looked calm, but she knew he was nervous. They were the first humans to stand in this hall, the first to speak for Earth to the gathered species of the galaxy. Before them, in the center of the floor, stood Supreme Counselor Jeff and 6 other council leaders. They wore simple gray clothes now, not their grand robes. Their hands were bound with light restraints. "These proceedings will now begin," announced the temporary chairperson, an elder from the neutral arbiter species. The council leaders stand accused of crimes against ascension species. The evidence has been reviewed by all. On large screens around the hall, images appeared: Earth cities in ruins, dead humans in the streets, the unprovoked attack that had killed millions. "What say you to these charges?" the arbiter asked Jev. The former Supreme Counselor raised his head proudly. "We acted to preserve council dominance," he insisted. "Our analysts predicted these humans would someday threaten our rule. They were growing too quickly, learning too fast. We acted first, as we have done with other dangerous species before." A murmur ran through the gathered representatives. Tahi stepped forward. The arbiter nodded, giving her permission to speak. "We became a threat only after you made us one," she said, her voice clear and strong. "Before your attack, we didn't even know other sentient life existed. We were exploring our own solar system, solving our own problems. We had no plans to threaten anyone." She pointed to the screens showing Earth's destruction. "You feared what we might become, so you tried to destroy us. In doing so, you created exactly what you feared, a species that learned to fight you and win." The arbiter spoke again. "The evidence is clear. The attack was unprovoked. The judgment of this assembly is that the old council structure must be dissolved." Jev's eyes widened in shock. "In its place," continued the arbiter, "we will form the Galactic Alliance. All species will have equal voice, including humans. The days of council dominance are over." Guards led Jev and the other council leaders away. They would be imprisoned on a remote world, far from any power. 3 days later, Earth ships prepared to return home. The diplomatic meetings were over. Treaties had been signed. Earth was now part of the galactic community. On the observation deck of the flagship Aurora, Juno found Tahi staring at the stars. The great spiral of the galaxy spread out before them. Billions of stars, millions of worlds. "Beautiful, isn't it?" she said without turning. "Yes," Junho agreed, joining her at the window. "I never imagined we would see this. 1 year ago, we were hiding underground, fighting for survival." Tahi nodded. "And now we're rebuilding, with help from new allies." "Are we making a mistake, trusting them again?" Junho asked, his voice low. "After what they did to us." Tahi was quiet for a moment. "I asked myself the same question, but I realized something important. Our revenge brought justice. We fought back. We won." She turned to look at him. "But our willingness to make peace afterward, that's what truly shocked them." "What do you mean?" "The old council knew only conquest and control. In all their thousands of years ruling the galaxy, they never met a species that could fight so fiercely and then offer peace so genuinely. It confused them completely." Below them, through another window, they could see Earth growing larger as they approached home. The blue planet was healing. Green was returning to burned areas. New cities were rising, built with both human and alien technology. "We entered the galactic stage in fire and fury," Tahi said. "But that's not how we'll stay. We'll help build something better than what came before." Juno smiled slightly. "From Earth's worst nightmare to the galaxy's new beginning." "Yes," Tahi agreed. "And we have work to do." As Earth grew larger in the viewports, the two leaders prepared to return to the planet they had fought so hard to save. Their war was over, but their story, and humanity's new place among the stars, was just beginning. The end.